An awful lot of people, and I'm sure this applies to you, as it applies to me, as it applies to nearly everyone, think too much. We just simply do. Thinking is a great ability, an ability we have, an ability to be able to reflect on things, to be able to learn and process. But it can also become too much. There's a fine line where thoughts become distracting, pernicious, and destructive rather than helpful, productive, and generous. First of all, it depends on the kind of thoughts you are having, obviously. But overthinking, it isn't concerned with the kind of thoughts you're having. It's concerned with paralysis by analysis, which we've all felt at some period of time. It's usually before you're about to do something, before you're about to take action, and your thoughts start running. They start running. And if you don't slow them down, and if you don't just say, shut up, I'm going to do this anyway, then they're going to keep running on. And they're going to try and find reasons why you shouldn't maybe do this thing that you really want to do, why it's potentially dangerous, why it could go wrong, you know, you could get judged, all of these things that the mind likes to come up with. We've got to realize these are illusions. Thoughts are not reality. You are not your thoughts, okay? And the thoughts that we have are not accurate depictions of reality. They are perspectives. They are interpretations. They're not facts. And so when you're hearing a thought in your head going off, or what if you fail, all of this, you start going into those thoughts. You start playing with them. And when you engage with them, you start to actually live out mentally and imaginarily the scenario that your mind is trying to create. You live out what it would feel like to endure that failure, to experience that rejection, that judgment, the thing going wrong. You actually experience that mentally. And science shows, recent science shows, that the brain cannot tell the difference between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. The brain cannot tell the difference because the same circuits are firing and wiring in the imagination as in reality, if it is vividly imagined enough. And so when we're actually doing this, when we're playing with these thoughts in our head, we're almost conditioning our bodies to expect that reaction. You know, let's say we're going to go and approach a girl and we're thinking, oh man, what if she rejects me? What if like she tells her friends and they all start laughing? What if she judges me? What if she, you know, makes an embarrassment out of me? And then what you'll do as a result of those thoughts is you'll start to engage imaginarily with those scenarios that you've created in your mind. And those will affect the way you actually do approach her if you end up doing it. The best way to do it is if you're, you know, you start overthinking these thoughts that you don't really want to be having, start clouding your vision and clouding your ability to act and making it more difficult for you. The best thing to do is literally just to say to your mind and your thoughts, shut up, I am doing this. That's it. Just tell it to be quiet, because the mind needs to be quiet sometimes. And it's often when the mind is quiet, when we're in this sort of flow state, that our actions are actually best oriented to the reality around us, because we're just focused on the present moment. We're focused on our action. We're not up in our minds thinking about, oh, what's she gonna think about me? Oh, what this, that. Fuck that, man. Just do what you want to do, and be present in the moment with it. Don't be caught up in all thoughts about what could happen and this and that. That will make your actions ineffective. It will. It's like martial arts. One thing I learned about martial arts, you can try as much as you want to think when you're fighting, to try and think, okay, let me try and, but that's going to slow you down. You need to be almost instinctual. And that's why we train a lot. That is why we train a lot. That is why we build the muscle memory. You know why? Because then instinct can take over. We can quiet the mind confidently, knowing that, okay, the body's going to take over. I have trained religiously and I have been consistent to the point where my body now knows what to do. I don't need to tell it what to do. I don't need to think, you know. Bruce Lee says something similar to this. You don't need to think. It's just there when you want it. And you already know what you're going to do. Your body just moves in one swift action. Action, nothing else. No thought. That is the state in which everything seems to go the best. When you're acting without thinking. It's not that you're not thinking before you go into action. Obviously, thinking is important. I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying to just be mindless and just go and do things without even thinking about doing them. That's stupid. But what I am saying is that sometimes thoughts, they can stop us, they can hold us back, and we all know that. And so there needs to be a way in which we quiet the thoughts that are pestering us, that won't leave us alone. The thoughts we know we don't want to be having and we know are not beneficial or useful to us, get rid of them, quiet the mind. And through meditation, through having an ability and developing an ability to have some mastery over your thoughts, to disidentify from them, then it becomes much easier to do that. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Stop overthinking.